Seed Explorations. Extension Experience number 5 for the 2nd grade, Unit 4 on Seeds. Video created by Court Ambrosino of the AAPS Environmental Education Program.
Hello learners, I'm Mr. Ambrosino from the Environmental Education Program. I heard you're wrapping up your study about seeds and I wanted to share some ideas about how humans disperse seeds. I got thinking about this because I noticed some seedlings sprouting out of my compost pile here. This is where my family puts our vegetable and fruit food waste, as well as leaves and plants from our yard. It decomposes and breaks down here, and in a couple of years it will be a rich compost that we can mix in with our garden soil. I noticed these little seedlings growing up out of the compost pile. Do you think the seeds came from our vegetable waste in the kitchen? Maybe a leftover seed from a pepper or a cucumber. I guess I could transplant the seedlings and see what they grow into. Today I thought we could explore how humans disperse seeds, both on accident and on purpose. This photo shows a Canada anemone plant, which is a native wildflower that my neighbor planted from seed a few years ago. Do you remember these seeds that I showed you from the Michigan Wildflower Farm in a previous video? Sometimes seed farmers collect seeds from native plants that are growing in the wild. They then plant those seeds on their farm, raise the plants, and harvest more seeds from them. They clean and remove other parts of the seed heads so that only the part that you will plant are left behind, like you can see in these bags. Another way that humans disperse seeds is by growing different types of food plants, and then saving some of the seeds from the fruit to grow in the future. Many of the plants in my garden here came from seeds that my family bought from a seed farmer. Some of them, though, came from friends who had different types of seeds in their seed bank, and we did some trading of seeds. This year, I'm going to try to save some of the fruit from my garden, remove and dry the seeds, and try to germinate them next year. I'll research the best way to do this for each type of plant. Some seeds are best stored in a cold place, like the refrigerator, while others should be kept in a cool, dry place. Some farmers try to grow traditional types of plants that were grown long ago. They worry that if we only grow a few varieties of each plant, like tomatoes, that a disease or a change to the environment could wipe out that species of plant. By growing different varieties of a plant, especially ones that are connected to special recipes from our ancestors, we can have a more interesting mix of foods and protect our food supply in case one of those varieties faces a problem. Here's another interesting story about human seed dispersal. This is the seed pod of the Kentucky coffee tree. Long ago, scientists think this was the preferred food of the mastodon, an elephant-like animal that used to live in Michigan. This animal no longer exists on Earth. It is extinct. Scientists believe that the mastodon's strong, grinding teeth would break open the pods of the Kentucky coffee tree and scratch or scar the seed coat, which helped some of the seeds germinate. Without the mastodon, this tree has a harder time spreading and reproducing. Today, humans are one of the main ways that this tree spreads. When we plant them on purpose, or when something like a car tire damages the seed coat. When people try to germinate these seeds, they'll often cut or scratch the seed coats, or even put them in boiling water to weaken them so the plant will have a better chance of germinating. Pretty interesting. Okay, one more phenomenon that I want to share with you is this plant called buckthorn. Sometimes people spread seeds by accident, and here's the story of buckthorn. This is a non-native plant to Michigan, which means it did not originally grow in our ecosystem. Instead, it was brought here from Europe by people to use in landscaping because it's a good-looking plant and it provides privacy for people's houses. But there's a problem. This plant produces berries that Michigan birds eat, but because they did not evolve alongside this plant, it is not a good food for them. It is a diuretic for birds, which means it makes them poop. You can imagine how easily the seeds of the buckthorn spread when birds eat their berries. If you go out and look, I bet you will find a buckthorn growing very nearby where you live. This shrub is crowding out other native plants and shading them, which makes it hard for them to survive. That's why many people are trying to remove buckthorn from our parks and private properties. The people who brought buckthorn to North America did not realize it would spread like this and become such a big problem for our ecosystems. Think about how you could be a person who disperses helpful seeds.
One thing you might try is to collect the seeds of native trees like oaks, maples, walnuts, or hickories, like this black walnut tree that you see up above me, and see if you can germinate some of their seeds. Now this can be pretty tricky, so don't fret if it doesn't work, but you could try putting seeds in different conditions and observe how well they germinate. Some could go in a moist paper towel, others in a cup of water, maybe you put some in the dark, some could even go in the refrigerator. You decide how you want to experiment with this. If you're able to germinate some seeds, your family could find a space to plant it and watch it grow. Thanks for watching today, naturalists, and keep on learning.